Why did you come to Appleby? When all of you opened your acceptance letters, what was it about that moment, opportunity, or time in your life that made you say, I want this? I remember sitting at the dinner table on the day of the acceptance deadline. At the last moment, I was deciding what to do. It was the winter of grade 9. That was the best school year I've had until I came here. I loved my friends at my old school. Academically, I was doing better than ever, and I truly felt like I belonged. My parents left the choice to move up to me. It was the hardest decision I have ever made in my life. I knew that if I came, it would be because I wanted to make the most out of the opportunities at Appleby and throughout life after high school. Good morning. I'm Jessie Olujic, and I've been at Appleby for 3 years. I won't tell you why I came yet, but I hope that by the end of this speech you will understand. You all accepted your admission letters, so now you're here. In your time here, what have you done? It's not hard for students at this school to take this opportunity for granted. Most Appleby students probably mention the school's opportunities in their admission interviews, but when they get here, they don't make the most of the very opportunities they talked about. When you get an email about an upcoming event outside of school hours, do you really read it? Maybe your subconscious automatically assumes you're not going to go. This is something I've been working on myself. When I was in grade 10, I would hear my friends in higher grades say they had a chapel speech for Blue Time. I remember thinking to myself, I'm so glad I don't have to go to that. 3 years later, I'm here. When I got to grade 11 and heard my first chapel speech, it became my favorite Blue Time activity. I looked forward to hearing them each week. If my mind was more open when I was in grade 10, I would have heard more speeches. That was an opportunity I wish I made the most of. To put this into a larger perspective, I hear so many people say they wish to make the most out of their life, and then they talk about their life plan for 5 to 10 years into the future. Why can't you start to make the most of your life now? At the school we go to, you definitely have the opportunities to start. According to Science Alert, the odds of you being here on this earth is 1 in 400 quadrillion. There's a slight chance that you would have been born, and you were. If you won the lottery, would you never spend the money? Probably not. Then why would you not live your life to the fullest after being given the chance to do so? I try to always keep this thought in mind. Most of my friends would probably describe me as a cautious person, and trying new things has never come naturally to me. I've been anaphylactic for most of my life. When I was younger, my mom was worried this would stop me from having lots of experiences she wanted me to have. I thought that was dumb. It wasn't until I was older that I realized she may have been right. A dream of mine is to travel the world. However, with language barriers, it's difficult for me to be comfortable eating local foods. I had to be 100% sure I'm not allergic to what I'm being served. This fear presented itself on my global ed trip to the Galapagos Islands. Before the trip, my parents were unsure if it would be safe for me to go because of my allergies. No one on my trip spoke the local language. As well, the population of the islands were small, so I didn't know how common allergies were there. These thoughts scared me, but I still went. If I didn't go on this trip, how was I supposed to be brave enough to travel the world alone when I am older? I didn't want to miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime experience because a condition was going to make it harder. When I went on the trip, the issues I was worried about became real. I wasn't certain that I wouldn't react to what I was being served. The fears I had were right in front of me. However, I'm glad they were there. I learned that something I was so anxious about could be solved so simply. My allergies did not have to prevent me from achieving my goals or doing things I have always wanted to do. If I succumbed to the fears I had about my allergies, I would not be making the most of my life. Even after you won the lottery of life, do you know all the things from your past that had to line up for you to be here in this chapel right now? One missed train, one wrong turn, or running late to work could have stopped your parents from meeting each other or led to a chain of events that amounted to you not being born. We are so lucky to have the opportunity of life. We're given the chance to make the most of our lives. Unfortunately, so many people only realize this chance when something threatens to take it away. I wish that you never experienced this. Although, I can almost guarantee that somewhere in your family tree, there's an experience that made someone understand the value of life. So many of your ancestors had to be alive long enough for you to be here and have this chance at life. To put this into perspective, I'm going to reference a story from my own family tree. My father's grandfather, Ivan Olujic, was the only soldier in his battalion to survive a devastating loss for his country in the Second World War. While fighting for Croatia, he faced many hardships. In the last battle he ever fought, he was shot in the face. The bullet flew through one cheek and out the other. He was one of many Croatian soldiers who were shot that night. After hours of fighting, the opposing side defeated the Croatian battalion. The opposing soldiers walked around the bodies of the fallen Croatian soldiers to ensure that none of them were still alive. This may have taken hours or days, but Ivan pretended he had died until the footsteps of those soldiers could no longer be heard. He froze there, with the screaming pain of the bullet wound, unable to make a sound or his life would be at risk. On that battlefield, he lay next to his fellow soldiers and friends who did not make it. He was the only survivor. When he thought it was safe, he ran from the battlefield until he could find anyone or anything. He found a house and knocked on the door. Thankfully, the compassionate woman who lived there was kind enough to take him in. While he stayed at her house, she nursed him back to health. When I first heard of this story, it changed my outlook on life. If the bullet moved an inch, our family tree would not have continued. If my great-grandfather blinked when the opposing soldiers were looking for signs of life, he would not have been alive to have a daughter. If he ran in the wrong direction and didn't find that house, there would be no daughter to later give birth to my father. If the woman he met was not as kind, I would not exist. At 47, Ivan Olujic proudly immigrated to Canada with dimples on his cheeks. The soldiers who fought alongside him had their family tree end there. We lost future doctors, artists, teachers, and scientists that could have achieved so much if they were given the chance at life. All of us are given this chance at life. We don't use it to reach our potential. Everyone in this room can amount to such greatness. The school provides us with the tools to get there. If we use the tools we are given, we are taking a step towards making the most of this education and our lives. My great-grandfather also sets a perfect example of someone who makes the most of an opportunity. In what was Yugoslavia at the time, he felt limited in his freedom, speech, and opportunity. He lived with his wife in a small village of 7 houses. His single motivation was his family's future. To ensure a safe life for his family, he left the war-torn country. His ambitious character was the reason he made it to Canada. He wanted to start a better life for his children. He worked at a car factory to provide them with the chances that they never had. He worked long hours to have stability for his family and put a roof over their heads. This man pushed himself to achieve his goals, and he achieved them. He used every opportunity he had, and it paid off. To him, making the most of his life would be to give his children the chance to make the most of theirs, and he did exactly that. Take a moment to look around. We often forget or overlook the struggle others went through to give us everything you see. By ignoring the opportunities of this school, we almost take them for granted. So much work and sacrifice from others is the reason we are given them. I didn't pick this topic to tell you how to spend your time here and live your life a certain way, but I do urge you to push yourself to achieve everything you've dreamed to achieve, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be a goal that's far away in the future. Make the most of your own Appleby experience now. Go after a distinction diploma. Go after an academic award. Go after colors. Add more pins to your blazer. Sign up for that co-curricular you're curious about. Join that council. Join that club. Work hard for optimates. Try something new, or look for new opportunities in something old. I opened this speech by asking why you came to Appleby, but I never told you why I came. The simple answer is this: the school would give me opportunities that nowhere else could. My perspective when I opened that letter was full of ambition. I wanted to make the most out of coming here. I wanted to see how far I could push myself. My time at Appleby definitely did that. Discovering my birch allergy and tomogamy, AP Physics, and camping in the Galapagos Islands pushed me farther outside my comfort zone than I ever thought I could be. What I learned from these experiences, I will take with me and apply for the rest of my life. If I didn't set out to indulge in the opportunities here, there's so much I wouldn't have done, and even more I wouldn't have learned. Convince yourself to have the full Appleby experience so you can learn for yourself. When you look back, you'll be grateful you did. Make the most of your opportunities at Appleby and your life afterwards. By doing this, maybe you will find a new answer to the question, why did you come to Appleby College? Please open the red book and join me in singing Your Love is Amazing, hymn number 26.